What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
Y hoy va a ser puro puñetazo as we continue on with another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you guys have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. We usually, we never get to any question that is not labeled question just because we never have time.
Right.
So always put question in front of your question. Maybe we should reword that a little bit. This question comes from Michael Ball. Are there any chapters that use Terra as a homeworld? If not, why not? There actually is. The good old Imperial Fists. My personal favorite. It's like our first founding chapter.
Why is that?
Why are they my favorite, or why do they stay on Terra?
Why are they your favorite? Let's start with that.
Yellow. I think the very first time I painted a battle wagon. There's a spider web down here. The first time that I painted a battle wagon for my orcs, and I used yellow, and then I was doing so what you do is, to get like the chipping effect, you get a sponge and you rip the sponge off so that it's like uneven. It's not just a flat surface. And then you dip that sponge into like silver or like rust brown. And then you dab it on like a piece of paper, and then you take it over to the model, and then you dab the edges, and it gives this really cool effect. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this for all the Imperial Fist minis. I did it for most. But yeah, that's the reason why. Yellow.
Interesting. And it just works really good with yellow, or just...
Yeah, I like I like how that looks, more so than any other color. The chipping effects, because I've done it with goth, so like black, and it looks cool, like black and silver, but I think the yellow, so having the yellow, brown, and silver is just awesome. But as I was saying, the Imperial Fists use Terra as their homeworld. There is actually it is a secret that their fortress monastery is within Terra near the Imperial Palace. There's supposed to be a ruined that's supposed to represent where the old fortress monastery used to be, but that's actually like the secret Imperial fortress monastery. So they have Phalanx, which is in space, but they also have that on Terra itself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wasn't told this secret.
Now everybody knows.
Unless you guys keep it a secret.
Which they would. Also, as far as like recruiting from Terra, the Black Templars are notorious for sending their chaplains to Terra, and they actually pick out pilgrims that have made the trek to Terra, because you got to remember that the Black Templars are rare amongst the Space Marines, as they actually believe that the Emperor was or is a god. So they want to pick neophytes that exemplify that Imperial creed and that belief in the God Emperor.
Right. That's why they're all zealots.
Yeah.
Because they're all crazy.
Super crazy with chains and whips, and they get excited. Next question.
This one is by Noctis Lucius. So the Cabal believe that after the heresy, a scintilla of the honorable being that Horus once was would remain within the War Master, eating at him over what he had done and fueling his self-destructive sense of self-hatred and loathing that would see Horus fall on his own subjects in acceleration of the violence of the heresy, creating civil strife amongst the forces of chaos that would culminate in the final extinction of mankind. I'm going to skip the second paragraph. So the question I'm really asking is, how can Horus have this type of self-hatred to the point that he will create another civil war if he is already being controlled by the Chaos Gods? He shouldn't be able to pull this kind of action. As an example, when Horus attacked Terra and killed Sanguinius, he didn't really feel any guilt. But once the Emperor removed the 4 Chaos Gods residing in Horus, he immediately regretted everything.
So what is the question in that statement?
Why would Horus have regret when the Chaos Gods were controlling him, but then not when they're not?
Because, check out our 40 facts on Horus's... I forget how we put it, but I did a 40 facts video like a week or two ago specifically on the procedure or the ritual that occurred to make Horus empowered by the Chaos Gods.
With like the anatheme and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it was personal choice. The Horus said, yes, I want to become better than my father, so give me these powers, type of deal. And then they took over his being. So it might not have been Horus who killed Sanguinius, but the regret comes from the fact that it was Horus who allowed the demons, or not the demons, the gods to possess him. Mm-hmm. If you look at it that way. I haven't read the Horus Heresy, so I'm not 100% on like the true. I don't know how much Horus was Horus during the actual heresy.
Right. We do have a friend who is reading the heresy, so we could ask him. But it's weird because like there's certain things that he hasn't read that obviously we know because of the lore and stuff, and it's like we got to find that fine medium where it's not a spoiler yet we're still getting info.
Yeah, or we could just spoil it for him because I mean, who cares about him? But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Fulgrim, where the demon took his body and like beheaded his best friend.
Yeah,
it's like he still felt like regret and shame over it, but even though it wasn't him, but it was his body, which it was kind of was him to Fulgrim. So yeah,
it's tricky.
It is. It's very existential. Very it's a very Debbie Downer type of view.
Definitely.
Glass half empty? Yeah.
Next question.
This one is by Kevin Lowe. Is Cypher supposed to be an edgy Deus Ex Machina to further the plot when a writer says F it?
What is that? I've watched Ex Machina, but I can't remember what that means.
It's basically like a failsafe, like, oh, there's no way anybody can like fix the situation, and then the Deus Ex Machina is like, oh, there's this thing that could reverse it or some shit.
Oh.
It's basically a writer's tool to
cop out,
yeah. To pull you out of the hole you wrote yourself in.
Oh, okay. And he's saying that who is
Cypher.
Cypher.
Because he's so mysterious and like, you know, he plays both sides. Like he's chaos, he's loyalist.
Him being that way is supported by the lore of not only the Dark Angels, but also just the grander plan of the God Emperor, of the Emperor and the Cabal and like the Alpha Legion. Because from what the little bit that I understand from the theory that Cypher is Alpharius or Omegon, it is believed that he is putting those, like he is working for the Imperium with the Emperor, but at the same time against. So it's not a failsafe. It's like it falls in line with the Alpha Legion's motives, and it falls in line with the Dark Angels and the Fallen.
Right, their secrets and them trying to like be redemptive, but at the same time, it's rumored that he has the Lion Sword. Well, I don't know if it's rumored anymore, but he does have the Lion Sword, so he could be using that as a means to resurrect the lion, or maybe to kill the Emperor, or something. Again, the mystery and the ambiguity is there for that reason that this guy has said.
Yeah, and the Fallen have been part of the Dark Angels lore from the beginning. Probably, before this, well, definitely before all of this stuff with like Gilliman resurrecting and them going into the Black Library and all that jazz. So yeah. Next question.
This one is by WAAAGH. You are transported to the 40K universe. You are the reincarnation of the Emperor with powers equal to him at his prime.
Sweet.
How would you gain control of the Empire of Man? And once that is achieved, what would you do with it?
Good old-fashioned unification wars.
So you'd do the same thing that the Emperor did?
Yeah. Because he's supposed to be like the master tactician. He's supposed to be like the cream of the crop.
But he's not him anymore. He's you.
I know. That's the exciting part. Then it's like a everyday 40K game, but in real life. Also in a fictional world. What would you do?
I would still like do the same things he did. The only big major things that I would change is obviously let the Space Marines and the Primarchs know what is going on. Let them know of the horrors of the warp. Let them know that, hey, you guys are test tube babies and you're just here for
a purpose.
Mm-hmm. After that, you guys are done. Because I'm pretty sure they're not all going to be like, what, rebellion, kill my father. I'm pretty sure some of them would understand.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right. And if not, bring it. I'm the Emperor.
Exactly.
That is something that I've always wanted to see. Like, can the Emperor take on his sons? All 20 of them at the same time.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe he will have, like, the Thunder Warriors on his side. Thunder Warriors against the Space Marines.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It would basically be a huge legion of, what are the World Eaters? Because that's kind of what the Thunder Warriors were.
Right. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, well, he lost, or he almost died to Horus. He was holding back the whole time.
Big time.
Mm-hmm. So, no rules, no restraints, going all out. If they choose to, rebel.
Yeah.
And then ally with the Tau, of course.
Next question comes from Kevin Lowe. If the orc spores leaked into a chaos planet, would the orcs be never-ending fighting for chaos beings? So there is an actual named character within the Warhammer 40, within the lore. I don't think you could actually play him, but it's Tuska, the demon killer. Mm-hmm. And that's basically his situation. He was teleported into the warp, or brought into the warp, or I think he might have just walked in there. And then Khorne took him, and now he does a never-ending
loop.
Yeah, of just fighting Khorne leaders or generals. So Khorne uses the orcs and their savagery to hone the skills of his generals.
Essentially training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
kind of like Even Stevens.
Basically, it's in this situation, the leaders are Ren, and then the other guy is
Stimpy?
Beans.
Beans. Frijoles.
You remember Bean from Even Stevens, right?
Mm-hmm. This one's by Bull Scrap Prakef. Is it possible for two orcs to be sewn together into one, or for parts from one orc to be put into another?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's what do they call docs?
Yep, yeah. Mad docs.
Are pain boys? Are they the same thing as docs? No, right?
So a pain boy would be just like a basic doctor, and then like a mad doc would be one that like has been around. He knows how to sew two heads together and have them stay alive.
Yuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, orcs are just fungus. So.
Yeah, in the beginning, we did a 40 facts on like orc lore. I think it was 80 facts on the orcs. Like this was way in the beginning, and we talked about odd boys. In the 40K lore, there used to be these things called, I think they're called wild boys. They weren't feral orcs. They were just boys that were a little twisted, and part of that was like two-headed orcs and like demonic orcs and stuff like that. So yeah, that used to be a thing. Next question.
This one is by Travis Becker. If Terminator suits are usually used as chapter relics, how come we don't see 30K Terminators use suits in 40K?
We do. 30K, the Forge World stuff has Terminator armor.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's saying, how come we don't see like the new like 40K, like the 41st millennium use like the 30K Terminator models?
Oh, because the newer or the 41st millennium are weaker and more degraded than the what is it, the
Cataphractory, Tartarus. There's a bunch of different Terminator armors from 30K. But yeah, a lot of times they just get lost. The STC is lost, and they don't know how to make those Terminator armors anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the Ultramarines should use more like Justarian Terminators. I don't know. But yeah, I often feel that 30K Terminators look way more cooler than the 40K ones.
Yeah.
I guess we just gotta wait until the Primaris get their own Terminator suit.
Which would be, I think it's going to be that, is it Phobos? The captain? What is the captain wearing?
Phobos armor? But it's
Yeah.
not Terminator armor. It's not Primaris Terminator armor.
I feel like that's what it's going to look like, though.
I thought it was gonna be something similar to the Aggressor armor.
I'm trying to think of what the aggressors look like.
It's like the ones with like the missiles. And
Oh, yeah.
the-
And the, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Ya tú sabes.
Next question comes from Fraser. He asks, who has the most ironic fate in 40K?
Ironic.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's the Emperor. He did it. He killed priests, destroyed churches, and now he is at the center of an enormous church, and filled with priests and nuns and daughters of the Emperor, wives of the Emperor, side chicks of the Emperor.
Main chicks of the Emperor.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think has the most ironic fate?
I want to say the Eldar. Because, like, they were these stuck-up dudes, and now they're, like, created a god that's killing them, and they're still stuck up. It's like, just admit it. You
suck, yeah. Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out of here.
Oh, if you could put my freedom